All right, how's everyone doing? Thanks for turning down the temperature a little bit, getting into nice Seattle weather here, and let's roll.
A couple of touchdown drives. How have you felt with his progress so far here?
I think he's done a really nice job of picking up the offense. I think as a whole, with the ebbs and flows of training camp, especially, going against a good defense where, hey, sometimes they're going to get our number, sometimes we're going to get their number, but about how you finish the practice. And I thought today really exemplified for Drew, just finishing strong and keeping that level-headed mindset throughout the course of the day.
Is there a reason so far we've just seen Drew with the twos and Gino with the ones and not mixing and matching them?
We've had a little bit, we got a plan there. There's also a lot of different things with walkthroughs and everything we got going. And there have been a few scenarios out here where there has been some overlap. And so we're just going with our plan here of really evaluating those guys, evaluating everything they're doing. Right now, the way it's worked out, Gino's been a little bit more with the ones than Drew. But there is some mixing and matching going on, and we'll continue to do that throughout camp and throughout until the time that we make that decision.
Do you feel like Drew has picked up the offense?
Yeah, I think those guys have done a really nice job. I think the quarterbacks as a whole with Gino, Drew, and Jacob Eason have done a nice job helping each other. When you talk about getting into training camp mode, you're in the rooms a lot with the meetings, with the walkthroughs, all that stuff, and helping each other to improve and really taking that competition as a competition amongst themselves, not necessarily against the other guy. So they're really helping each other out, and that's allowed Drew to really pick up the offense in a good, timely fashion.
Has anything changed with practice with Pete not being here?
His presence is missed, but I think the one thing is he set such a good standard for this program, the way we handle our business day in and day out. So, unfortunately, COVID got to him, and he's in there in spirit and also on those Zooms, which is the one positive thing that we did take away from COVID, the ability to adjust and adapt when we do have to get on some of those Zoom calls. So, Carl Smith did a great job taking over, and then everyone else just steps in and fills in roles just a little bit more until he returns.
What have been your early thoughts as Clint as a DC?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What have been your early thoughts as Clint Hurtt as a DC?
Oh, it's Clint as a DC, yeah. No, one thing Clint's going to do is he's going to bring that emotion, that passion to the game, right? Set up for that physicality up front, starting with our inside players. And I know just seeing Al Woods across the way there, just setting that anchor in the middle right there and then moving on out. But, you feel Clint's passion, you feel his approach to the game, feel our desire to be that tough physical defense that's playing smart football.
DK so far obviously got a little bit of a late start with the April OTAs and stuff like that. Where's he at right now, getting back into things?
Yeah, I love seeing him back and all in. Happy to have him back in here, and I thought really appreciated the way he handled everything in a good professional manner, and then he gets right back out there. And like anything else, it's still a process to get back into the swing of things, get back into the timing and rhythm. But as far as from a mental state, from a physical being in shape state, he's right picking up where he left off. So he's just doing nothing but trying to be that positive leader day in and day out within the building.
Going back to the competition, running back, Rashad Penny, looks fresh, and then obviously Kenneth Walker. What effect is that having on DJ Dallas and Travis Homer in terms of their stepping up there?
Yeah, I think competition just brings out the best in everybody, and we've got a lot of good competitions across the board. So when you look at that running back room, you got guys with different levels of experience, and obviously with Rashad coming in here, had some bad luck throughout his career, right? That's the bottom line, and he comes in here hyped up, ready to go, in great shape, and pushing himself. And then so he starts it, and then everyone else has to catch up. And Ken Walker's done a great job of getting right in there. And then we know, like, Travis Homer and DJ Dallas, they're coming to work every day. And then Josh Johnson and Darwin Thompson, like, all of those guys are pushing each other, and you really feel their juice. Because I think the one thing that Chad Morton's done such an excellent job for us on offense is bringing that energy, bringing that feel of, hey, what's that running back position provide to the day in, day out feel of the offense? Because it's not just running the ball, it's the energy, it's how they finish. Like, they can really be those tone setters. And so starting with Rashad, moving right on down with the lead of Coach Morton, like, those guys have done a great job of that.
What's Marquise showed you in this offense?
Yeah, just a true pro that's twitched up and fast. He's come in and got to us a little bit later in the offseason there, so there was still a little bit of that learning curve with the offense. So he showed up ready to go as far as knowing everything, knowing what to do, and just provides, like I said, that professional approach where every snap, we had a clip out here 2 days ago where DJ catches a nice pass down the sideline, and you see Marquise. He's not just that fast down the field. He's sprinting across the field and getting a block that might be the touchdown block in the game. So I think putting that effort on tape, showing what he's all about, that allows him to blend right into a new setting and have everyone on his side.
Speaking of that, Marquise, and that third receiver spot, I mean, you've got a lot of candidates who could probably fill that role. Is there anybody stood out to you aside from Marquise in that role?
Well, I mean, it comes right back to that competition thing, right, where we got that good competition for that third receiver spot. And Freddie Swain is always going to be steady. He's always going to be working hard, playing tough, knowing what to do, okay, looking for his ops. And I think he's done a great job, again, of picking up, like he did last year, of where he left off, knowing the system and being really that physical presence sometimes in that receiver room where he needs to get in there and do some of the dirty work, move around a little bit, and then still provide good options in the pass game there. And then outside of that, we got a bunch of guys that are in a group. We got some young guys. We got guys like Cody Thompson and Aaron Fuller that have been around, that are competing and still up in their game every day that they're out here. And D. Eskridge, I can't wait to get. I go reference like Rashad Penny's situation, where sometimes those injuries are out of your control. And I think the hardest part for D right now is knowing that he wants to be out here every single day. And again, a guy that's tough, physical, and wants to be out there. Just some bad luck has prevented him. So I can't wait till he gets his chance to really show what he can do.
What did you think of the two red zone periods last couple of days?
The red zone, when we get in the blitz periods, you're talking about those early ones? Yeah, I love those, man, because you get the crowd going a little bit there. You got the defense going. To me, that's the hardest situation. On offense, we're in third down situations in the red zone. Defense is cranked up. They're pressuring, crowds into it. And those are those ones where we just got to keep grinding those out, because those are simulating as close as we can in this setting to what a game-like atmosphere would be. So I think we got a little ways to go as far as being sharp, being always on the same page, getting all our communication going, because I think the crowd noise, you got these speakers that I try to hear at the end of practice to see if I can or not, but everything's loud, everything's trying to put the stress on the players so they can just maintain that nice, balanced, even-keeled approach in those stressful situations. So definitely an area we got to keep working on and keep improving in.
Shane, before the game starts, how are you defining success for the quarterback? What are you measuring in these practices out?
Well, winning, right? Winning. So how do they, every situation that they're in, are they winning that moment, right? Each rep, and really it's that process over results mentality. And I'll take a great example, like Jake Easton had a great play kind of towards the end. Didn't work out exactly right, but his drop, his read, everything went the right way. So to me, that's a plus for that thing, and that's where we got to do a good job of really understanding when you got these guys with Gino and Drew competing against each other. We're looking at everything like all coaches do, between the walkthroughs, the communication, how they're interacting with their teammates, how we're throwing individual routes, how we're running the drill periods, and then how these team periods go. And then we'll get our shots, we'll get our Lumen Field scrimmage, we'll get these different shots in different practice settings, and just do the best we can to evaluate, who's winning each one of those sections to be able to get us in a position to make the best decision for the team.
Do you have any sort of timeline at all for when you ideally have that decision made?
Denver? Yes, we do have a plan, though.
Drew has said that he's kind of had to find a balance between when to be the gunslinger and when to play it safe or smart or whatever you want to say. What have you seen from him in that regard?
I think he had a great example early on, like right in one of the first practices there, where he's putting the ball down the field and he knows, hey, I want to make that big play, but was that the right scenario to say, let's go ahead and put one down the field? Then he comes right back the next day, almost has the identical situation right there. He sees it downfield. That's probably a tough one. Puts the ball away and runs with it. So I think consistently making those quality decisions without taking away those explosive plays that we know can get created when you get off schedule.
Last play of the first practice?
Yeah. Yep, making smart decisions. I think that goes for all the quarterbacks. Anytime they bear a lot of that responsibility of the ball security, which is something, we're still striving to be, 0 turnovers every single game. So how do we get to that point, but also take those shots down the field that give us a chance for explosive plays?
What do you like about seeing Charles pass out there and also Abe Lucas and other persons?
Yeah. No, I think both Charles and Abe have done a great job of really melting right into the veterans in the group, and it goes right back to the competition with Stone and Jake, the different guys there that are rolling in with them. Just like we talked about with the quarterback position, they're all helping each other, and those guys, some rookies might take a little time to figure out how to fit right in, and those two guys have both come in with that professional approach. You see them around here all the time, kind of just hanging out in the building, wanting to be a part of whatever they can, and with Andy Dickerson and Kali Cueva, just being able to work with them day in and day out, and they can't get enough football. So that's a good starting point for some football players right there.
How helpful is it for you to also have that consistency now with Andy Dickerson, like you had in LA, now that you're able to play that
Yeah, he's done a great job of stepping into the role, and getting those guys on the same page. And between him and with Austin Blythe and Kyle Fuller, I think because those centers also drive that room. I think with that player to coach and coach to player relationship, those guys have started to develop. You really see a cohesive unit coming out onto the field.
Shane, ideally, how long before the season opener do you want whoever wins the competition to be with the ones and to be with the starting offensive line to be before the season begins?
Yeah, I think like anything else, that's a fluid situation. So we have a plan that we'll keep in house with our situation there, and keep those guys competing and knowing that by the time we get to that first game, we'll be ready to roll.
You mentioned Austin. Just what have you seen him in terms of what he's doing from a leadership and communication at the center position?
Yeah, I think for Austin with the communication part, that's so important to me. I mean, being around John Sullivan back in LA and even going way back to Notre Dame, he was a center that had such great command and control and charisma at the line of scrimmage. And then when Austin was able to step into that role when Sully retired, you really saw Austin had learned from him and taken those things. So I think he's transitioned all those tools that he's learned as a communicator, because he's already got the leverage, the play skill, all those things. But his communication is at an elite level. So you can see him come into a new building and not just about getting out there, but about helping the rookies, about helping guys with calls, about working together with the offensive line. So, I think Austin's done just an excellent job of coming in and being a new guy in the building, taking that time to get in, get acquainted, but then taking on a leadership role. And you can see it growing each day.
What you thought of the cornerback?
The corners, well, they had a lot of hands-to-hands, or they're getting some balls batted, especially over the last 2 days. And I think the one thing that I can see with our DBs across the board is the speed. And I think we got great team speed, and it really shows up. We're pressing the issue, trying to get some of those throws downfield, and we got all those guys running stride for stride with Artie and those guys, and they're doing a great job bringing out the competitive side in the offense too, making every ball contested, making it hard on us, and you really just see the speed that they have.
Wasn't really asked to catch the ball much in college at all. It looks like out here he's doing that. Is that something you knew he had in him if you give him a chance?
Yeah, I felt confident in the evaluation of him that he had good enough hands to walk in and be an effective pass catcher. I know he had, a bazillion carries so that last year there. So I know they were more focused on handing it off to him, and he did a pretty darn good job when he got the ball handed to him. So right when he got in, felt like, okay, let's just verify what we saw. He's out there running all sorts of routes and doing a great job with it.
Yeah, pass protection wise.
I think he's doing great. I think that's something that's going to keep building as we go. As far as from like right now, what we know from a mental side, he gets it right. He picked it right up. Did a good job in the offseason of learning the system. Understands, hey, how does the line fit into all the calls, and where do I fit in? And then today's really the first day in pads, so I'm excited to see and go back and look at the tape. Some of the blitz pickup situations that'll come up from here on out in pads, because it's really tough to say, yeah, this guy can do it when we're in t-shirt and shorts and helmets on the pass protection versus, hey, now Jordan Brooks is running full speed right through you and with the 5-yard head start. So I feel confident in him and his ability. He's tough, he's smart, physical. He'll be great.
We saw some of the fades to DK in the goal line not connect. Is that just a timing thing for him missing some time?
Yeah, I think we just got to keep practicing, right? Keep practicing, and nobody's harder on himself than DK is on wanting to be perfect and being a perfectionist with how he's going up, how he's attacking the ball. And so I know he's out here working. He gets a few after, he's talking through it with the quarterbacks, and they're just working through, hey, how do we get on the exact same page in all the same scenarios?
Anything else? Yeah, actually, kind of off topic, but who would you say is pound for pound the best athlete on the roster?
Ooh, pound for pound. I don't want to get backed into a corner here. We've got some pretty good ones here. Let me think. Probably have to stick with a guy on offense right here. I wouldn't bet against Penny Hart in any situation. I feel like he's just going to win the thing. He's going pound for pound. I don't care if we're boxing, if we're playing hoops, if we're playing croquet. I think he's just going to figure out a way to go out and get it done.
Thank you.
All right, good deal. All right, see you guys.